All right, folks, here we go. Just want to give you a quick rundown on what it is that I want you to do today. Very similar to yesterday, so hopefully won't take long. All right, so you should get a worksheet with a problem starting looking like this. That's the first problem, and basically we want to do what we did yesterday. All right, yesterday we talked about we talked about the dog and the cat, how or not the dog and the cat, the rabbit and the cat. The rabbit had an equation that looked like this. The rat was a rabbit. The cat had an equation that looks like this. Basically, set them equal to each other like this: 3x plus 5 equals 1x plus 19. Something like this. And we solved and we found, instead of using a graph or a table or two tables, where we were looking for how many years, I think it was 7 years, how much they weighed the same, 26 pounds, I think it was. We could solve this, and we'd find the number of years, we'd plug it back in, the years, to find the pounds, and that's what we talked about yesterday. So the reason I bring all that back up is look at these equations. They look exactly the same. And the directions, though they're not here, they say solve the system using probably equal values method. That's what we call it. And you're going to do the same thing here. So if you're given two equations, yes, there's no bunny and cat, but it's the same setup. And it's the fact that we want to find where these two things are equal. And we want to solve for the variables. And right now, neither of these things are true. They're not equal to each other. These are two separate equations. And there's two variables, an x and a y. So by setting this part equal to this part, we're doing two things. We're going to set parts of each of the equations equal to each other. Equal values method makes sense. Why I would call it that. The other thing it accomplishes is we have an x variable here, an x variable here. We can actually solve this. We've got rid of the y. Now we can solve for x. All right. The other explanation is this. This equation used to say y equals 4x plus 23. This also says y equals x plus 2. Well, if y equals x plus 2, that means wherever you see a y in this equation, you can replace it with x plus 2. So we can replace the y in the second equation with, well, what does y equal? It says x plus 2. X plus 2. All right? So however you want to explain it. You can go back to this and reference it because you're going to have to explain it today. And I'll tell you how. But there you go. Set them equal to each other, solve the equation. Subtract x from both sides. Well, we just need to solve the equation. All right. Minus 23. Now this is something that you guys might try and minus the 2. I wouldn't do that. You have the x over on the right. We want to try and get it by itself. This will result in a negative, but don't be afraid of negatives. You're gonna have to get a negative at some point. If you subtract the 2 over, instead, you're gonna have to bring something back over to the left, and so on. So just try and get all the x's on one side, all the numbers on the other. And after you subtract 23, you get negative 21. We want to get x by itself. Divide both sides by 3. X equals negative 7. Circle it. Now we're not done, but we're close. Because we want to find the point where these two things meet. And again, we could graph this. That's another thing I didn't mention. Starting at 2, we go up 1 over 1. Up 1 because of the 1 here. And over to the right, we always go to the right. This one starts at 23 and goes up 4 to the right 1. We could graph these things. But we're not. But the reason I bring up the graph is a graph has, when we find the point where they meet, that point has an x and a y. Well, we found the x. Now we need to find the y. The way to do that, you already found x, so pick one of your equations. I'm going to go with this one. Y equals x plus 2. I'm going to use a different color here. X plus 2. Negative 7 Plug it in for x. -5. So the point where these two lines meet is -7, -5. Now, I'd like you to try and write your answer like a point, since that's what we're looking for. But ultimately, if you keep it as x equals -7 right here, and -5, y equals -5, you circle your answer. That works too. I'm cool with that. But try and get used to writing it as a point, because that's what it is. So that's what you're going to do for each of these examples. This is one example. And here's what I want you to do. Today, you're going to get your worksheet. You're going to start working on it. But if you look, it says go to this link right here. You're going to hit this link. It's going to take you to something called Flipgrid. You may have used it before. I'm sure some of you have not fear of it, but you don't like it as much. That's fine. You don't have to like it, but you do have to use it. And I want you to explain a problem to me. So you're going to enter the join code right here. You can copy and paste it, enter the join code, and it'll take you to a screen that looks like I would guess it's going to look more like this for you. Like this. You're going to hit add a response. And what I want you to do is, you guys will probably see me for a second. Oh no. But maybe do it on paper and hold it up. All right, something like that. I'm going to stop this. But do it on paper, hold it up, and just you got 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes to record. You probably won't even need it. Do one problem. You and your group at your desk. Each person take a problem. Don't all pick the same problem. Hold it up to your computer and just explain the problem to me. How did you do it? Why did you do it? What did you get? And then that way I can kind of check off. But I expect one video from each of you that are there on the day for one of those problems. All right? Other than that, have a great day, folks. Take care.